Hello, my name's Doug Enas. I'm a student at Kinsey Academy, um, and I am a beginner. So I really enjoy programming. I just started programming last year, but I've really taken to it, and I really enjoy Python. So it's really cool to be here and be able to do this. Um,
Welcome, Doug.
so yeah, today I'm going to talk about web scraping. The title is called "The Beautiful World of Web Scraping." And we're going to answer some questions during this time. We're going to answer what is web scraping, who is doing web scraping, how does one web scrape, and then I'm going to give you a short demo on we're going to scrape some stock prices from CNN Money. So what? What is web scraping? So data displayed by most websites can only be viewed using a web browser. So what kind of options does somebody have if he wants to gather this data and use it for a project or for work or for anything? One option is to manually copy and paste the data, but that is very tedious and can take hours or days to do. Web scraping is the technique of automating this process, which makes it much faster, and much more reliable. Some examples of web scraping are one could scrape funny video titles with more than 1 million views to analyze what kind of titles are doing well. So you could, somebody who's interested in how a specific video title is doing. One could scrape Amazon for a specific category of books if they were trying to find a specific category of books. And one could scrape Reddit for particular keywords to get all the info about that particular keyword, like when and why people are using that keyword. So these are just some examples of how web scraping could be useful to harvest information really from the web. A quick note, somebody in here has to be thinking, why would I not just be using an API? And you're right, APIs are more reliable. If there's an API available for what you're looking for, use it. Web scraping should be secondary. If there's already a API out there that you have seen and come across that you like, go ahead and use it. Okay, so who is web scraping? Who are these people? Who are these web scrapers? Real estate agents who use web scraping. They're gathering already listed properties from a conglomerate of websites. Social media companies are using web scraping. They're getting massive amounts of data for research purposes. And research companies are pulling in massive amounts of data and then making sense of it. So it's really big with research companies. They're using it daily. And as well as analytics companies are getting competitive prices. They're using web scraping to compare prices of different sorts, and it's a very useful tool for them. So how does one web scrape? Well, the libraries I'm going to be talking about are Beautiful Soup 4 and requests. Beautiful Soup is a Python library for pulling data out of HTML and XML files. It works with your favorite parser to provide idiomatic ways of navigating, searching, and modifying the parse tree. It commonly saves programmers, like I said, hours or even days of work. And requests is an HTTP library, so any HTTP functions you may need to do, get, post, put, whatever you want, you can do it with requests. So now for a demo. We are going to look at CNN Money and scrape it for some stock prices. Okay, so first things first, we want to, okay. First things first, we're going to import our Beautiful Soup module as well as our request module. Next, we're going to fetch our URL using requests and then parse it with Beautiful Soup. So here I have the URL for CNN Money set to a variable. Then we're going to create another variable and use request to get that URL. And then create another variable and parse it through beautiful soup. So here we have beautiful soup. Then we're passing in this variable, the text content of that variable. And we are using its HTML parser feature. And so when we return this, we're going to get this long list of data, which is in fact the parsed HTML for this particular web page. And it's a big long list, but it's the same HTML that you would get if you went to your Inspect tab in Google Chrome and were to look at this data. So that's essentially what Beautiful Soup does. It parses HTML, and now we can specify data within that HTML that we want to use, which we will now do down here. We're going to identify the elements that we'd like to scrape from the website and then print those results. So first, what I want to show you is, let's open up the Inspect tab and say we want to get the price of Apple stocks. So we'll go over here to our Inspect, and we will select this pricing right here. And when we do that, you can't see it obviously, but what pulls up are some attributes about this price tag. What we're now going to do is use that data to, with Beautiful Soup, to get this data. So here I have a variable named Apple name. We have it equal to soup.find. And what soup.find does is it goes through and it locates a specific tag within the parsed HTML to pull that data from. So we are passing in a span attribute, so it will locate, it's looking for a span tag. And then the attributes are a title with Apple as its name. So now it's going to look for any span tags that have Apple as its title. As well as for the price, we're going to do use the same logic. Use soup.find, look for span tags that are containing its unique stream tag that it has here. And when we print this out, you'll see that you get the information that you were looking for. And I've included other stocks up here as well, such as Citigroup, General Electric, Google, and Microsoft. But you get the idea that what this does is that you can now view this website and see these most popular stocks and get this individual data. And instead of copying and pasting each line, you can use this program that will go to this website for you and grab this data. And Beautiful Soup is just one of it's not the only web scraping tool. There's others such as Selenium and Scrappy. Those are ones that you can use as well. But this is the main gist of web scraping, and I have one more an assignment that I did for a school project that I can have time to show you. Possibly. Let me CD. Okay, so here I have a simple program that scrapes a website for email addresses, image tags, and URLs. So if we run this, Python scraper.py, and we put in our URL, I'm going to do the Kenzie Academy website. You'll see that it gives us this large list of data. And in this data, we have URLs, email addresses, phone numbers, and image tags. And it's just another example of what you can do with web scraping if you're looking to gather all this information from not just one website, but multiple websites. You can use the same functionality that you use in your program amongst a wide array of different websites. And so that is all I have. That's web scraping in a nutshell, and thank you for listening.